Under the same moon, we share the love. Embracing the differences like hand in glove. Spreading peace and joy, it's a beautiful sight. Together we shine in each other's light. United we stand in love's pure might. Watching the world share in love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. Colors of harmony painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might.
Okay, guys, we're live here at Nancy Guthrie's home in Tucson, Arizona.
Along the side of the road that he was traveling the opposite direction and how people get past each other. He also has been reported that crash trucks at the Great Commission. The World Metro File has expressed concern that what happened is police responded to the first trip in the neighborhood holders caused by all the orange cars.
Okay.
Roadway. Some changes will affect Laura.
Okay, LG's back. Doxy. Hello, Missouri. Doxy's from Missouri. Okay. All right, Sky Maiden, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much. Minx, thank you for subscribing. Thank you, Angel, for subscribing. Thank you, guys.
Zorella. County will place do not enter signs at Camino Escalade, Camino Zorella intersection. Parking on the road will only be allowed on the west side.
They're going to restrict the highway, the road here,
The
rather.
County Sheriff's Department will enforce these restrictions. About 60 residents along Camino Escalade will be affected by the temporary change. Change will last until no longer needed. Pena County Code gives authority to the county engineer to make temporary traffic control. It's more about cat traffic.
Yeah, so much traffic coming through here.
Okay.
Terry, good. Definitely, Terry. I believe so, too. Okay, guys. So it's a slow news day.
Are you coming?
Yeah, yeah.
Here.
So we become the story. That's how life works, right? There's not a lot of news happening. So they're focusing on the creators, okay? I have a press pass just like they do, so I'm not sure what the issue is. Okay, no more rain. That's right, pretty team. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes. Oh, okay. Great. Cool, cool. Okay. All right. Let's see here. We're fully loaded. Battery life around here is a struggle, even with the charger. But we're good, folks. We just found out they're going to restrict the traffic around here a bit. I guess there's so much traffic they're not used to because of the incident. We have media coming back and forth and also people coming through just to observe and see what's happening. MSM is jealous. Y'all got more people watching. Okay, thank you, Terry. Nice to have you here. Eve. Okay, your theory regarding the door locks makes sense from the beginning. The view stops when his hand moves away from the security lighting. Thank you, Eve. Good point. Solid good point. It just makes more sense that way. Shout out to you, Stella. No real updates. They're just trying to do the same thing they did with Brian Koberger. They're trying to use the genealogy to determine, like in the case, think about what happened with Brian Koberger. They used the blood that was found on the knife sheath to basically, I guess somewhere along the line, they were able to track it to his father who lived in Pennsylvania. And so his father came to pick him up. They did a road trip from, what was it, Idaho back to Pennsylvania near where I'm from. And when they got to the residence, I think they used the father's DNA that they retrieved from a trash can at the edge of the road on trash day. And they were able to tie that to Brian Koberger. So, from what I understand, they could use relatives because nowadays a lot of people want to know about their ancestry. So they utilized. I'm not saying they use 23andMe, but that's one that comes to mind. But I believe some of them don't cooperate with the feds. So I think 23andMe they may not be able to get, but similar concepts and companies. And once they pull those records, they can find out maybe your third cousin or your first cousin, and then they start asking questions. And if you don't give the answers, they'll figure it out. It's just a matter of time. So, but that's what they're working on, trying to crack the case. I think in the case of Brian Koberger, they held everything closer to the hip. So basically, you couldn't really make a determination of what was happening. Like when Brian Koberger happened, I remember following it every day, and it felt like maybe they wouldn't solve it. And then all of a sudden, the feds pull up like the army. You know what I mean? And that's just how it works. Just how it goes. So that's just how it goes. So silence is not always failure or misdirection. But this is starting to feel weird, though. And guys, keep in mind, JLR, he's been here the whole journey, so I know that's a long commitment. I do this in New York, going to court cases and riding the train because I don't want to drive through the city and take an hour just to get out of the city, and then drive 2 hours to get home every day. But either way, it takes a lot to cover it. So that's why we take it personal when people come on complaining, talking about, oh, you shouldn't be here. Da, 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 da. That's why we take that very seriously. The only reason somebody would complain about what somebody else is doing is because they feel like it's impeding upon what they have going on. That's what it boils down to. So, but as long as we're upstanding, law-abiding citizens, all is well. That's just how it goes. So that's just how it goes. Shout out to you, Rory. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you, Mix. Thank you. Okay. So let's see here. Okay. JJ says Nancy Blood was there when she left to Annie's, and the guys just take the camera so they would not see the car. Hmm. Okay, good point. Okay. All right. AJ Wick, possibly the guy dressed up in the mask, gloves, and backpack on stage, and Nancy wasn't even in the house. I find that that's going to be difficult. We could try to discuss it, AJ, but you're going to have to explain how the pacemaker disconnected from the technology. Keep in mind, she had Apple Watch in play, a cell phone, and um, her pacemaker. So that's three different technologies that have to be in unison together, and they at least the let's see, the pacemaker disconnects from the cell phone. So how would you explain that? Because that's inside of her body. So it's not like, you're saying somebody just moving around a cell phone. So that's the issue. It's almost like it disconnects from her, but they know it's at this location. Obviously, they can tell you what a cell phone was. JJ says they went through the back, did not break into the front. Okay. Is that confirmed, or is that what you believe could have happened? Okay. Okay. So what do we have here? Okay. Maybe a neighbor, I guess. Yeah, must be a neighbor. But I tell you one thing, if you walk on that property, that sheriff will get out of that truck before you can say walk, you know? So, yeah, he's just walking the dog, okay? hmm Okay, sorry guys, I got distracted here. All right. Well, now that I'll be on the road more, I'm gonna have to have a better setup. So that's what I'm on a mission now, guys. The tent is nice, but it's so heavy, and even with a press pass, going through these particular airports and also the airlines, they still try to take advantage. It's just crazy. So all these things are being worked out. Okay, Lisa says I came over from JLR. I appreciate your insight. Thank you very much. Nice to have you here. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for subscribing. Early in the morning is a good time if you're trying to get my attention. You really need me to answer something. I respond to all of my comments. So yes, indeed. Okay. Thank you, Vicky. Nice to have you here. Eva, Eva, last night I gave you a special shout out for becoming a subscriber and all that good stuff during the show, but I think you were gone by that point. So we'll do it again on the next one. Last night's show wasn't the typical, but we do what we do while we're traveling. I think everybody understands that. Okay, Jeff Springer. Welcome in. Shout out to you, Jeff. Nice to have you here. Okay. Always. All right. Welcome in. Yeah, he's a great guy. Shout out to you. Thank you for subscribing. Cosmian, thank you too for subscribing. Thank you. Barbarian. Okay. Thank you. Are you a RN? Are you a registered nurse? I see the RN at the end. Just curious. Thank you, Jeff. Okay, great. Letter Dobson. Let's see. Okay, two things. How do they know the gun was even real? They probably don't. And secondly, how do they know blood wasn't there before the abduction? Hmm. Well, I don't know. I'm not too sure, but this day and age, the feds, they have all the great information, so they can probably, they deal with so many cases, they probably could pin it down. Munchkin, how are you? Find your drone, guys. Okay. Okay. Get some drones in the air. Teresa, shout out to you. Nice to have you here. Mason's mom. Nice to have you here. Thank you for subscribing. Dropping Knot is in the building. Greetings to you, Dropping Knot. Nice to have you here. Okay, good. Bev Crabtree, great. Nice to have you here from JLR, great guy. Green Palm says, I'd be so mad if I lived on the street. Glad they're making media leave. All right, good point. Lopez, thank you for subscribing from JLR. Okay, thank you. Beach Girl said the sheriff messed everything up. I just watched Fox 10 talk. They had another sheriff talking about it. Okay, I'm gonna check that out. So, Beach Girl, I'm gonna pull that up right now for you. Give me 1 minute, guys. I'm gonna step away and get my iPad so we can check out what Beach Girl has to say. Because whenever you guys give information, I want you to know we take it very seriously. And I see and hear everything, and I follow through on it. These people are leaving, guys. What does that mean? Wow, this place is gonna be like a ghost town next week. Jeez. Oh my goodness, I don't even know if there'll be anyone around. Wow. Jeez. Hey, I'm gonna step away for 1 minute. I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
Uh, what's your name? Armelinda. I are Army. How are you, Army? You laying down flowers? I'll watch you lay down flowers.
Please return her. There's no reason why you're gonna be hurting this family. You know, she's 84 years old, you know. She could have been my mother. My mother passed away in 1988. I miss her every day. But this is not the way to rip somebody out of their family. You know, please have a heart. Bring her home. Please bring her home. We want her home. And so we can celebrate with her and the Guthries. And like I said, I'm here to represent. And also, I want to just make a quick comment about Sheriff Nanos. Sir, I'm asking you to please come out and make a statement to the people of Tucson, Arizona, and the county. If you've had so many years of detective work, this big case here just killed everything that you've done for the past years that you say. I mean, sir, I'm sure anybody can talk on camera. Don't be saying things that just out of the blue. I mean, or have it written down, but please don't do this to the people. Don't do this to the Guthries. You're doing an injustice to them and to all our people. You're in a leadership role. Please do the right thing, sir. And I know you started off wrong and you continue to make mistakes. I know you're not coming out so that people cannot ask you questions. You're just playing it safe in your little office. But I just, it's time for you to resign. I mean, they keep saying that you're the only one that was available. The other people are available. Let people that come in that are up, going up in the ranks. It's time, sir. It's time to step aside with all due respect. Thank you.
Thank you, Army.
Excuse me, what was the scripture you said? Romans, what was that?
8:31.
Okay,
If God is with you, who can be against you?
all right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, JLR. I want to shake your.
It's kind of quiet place. Wow, this place is thinning out. It's a quiet place to listen to. Okay, so this is Nancy Guthrie's. Now, let me try to find. Sorry, this is quite the journey here. The sheriff messed up everything. I just watched Fox 10 talk. It had another sheriff talking about it. Fox 10. Let me find that. This morning it was freezing. Now it's burning up. So it's like pneumonia weather out here. But I'm enjoying it. It's an awesome place. So Fox 10. Okay, Fox 10 Phoenix, I suppose. And Fox 10. Let's see if I can find a sheriff.
I don't want to oversell it, but it did basically work.
I see one that says the sheriff defends Nancy Guthrie's investigation. Maybe I don't think that's the one. Let's see, sheriff talking about it. No, that's another sheriff.
The thing that I wanted it to do, and it did it at a fraction of the cost of everything. I'll tell you the truth. I was doing these starlings that are beta species here. Cell coverage out here is not good. Yeah. No. So yeah. No. I would bring one because basically BC is going to have. Well, they'll have. We've got the big Nexstar Enterprise one too.
I don't see anything about a different sheriff giving their opinion, so I need a little bit more information of how to look it up. Eve, thank you for joining, subscribing. YouTuber reports are regimented. You guys are free to move around if necessary. Okay, thank you. Keith says, hey, I just subscribed to your channel from JLR. Just say, do you think they went through the front? I believe they went through the back. All right. We don't know. We have to just see what the authorities say. They're holding back a lot of information. Yeah, so they have not officially said the person went through the back. So if they have, if you could post it, that would be awesome. Okay.
Minx says the blood shows he was very violent. Okay. Vicky says stay live, communicate with your viewers, enjoy your perspective. Okay. Thank you, thank you. All right. Posh says, why no video shown who brought her home? See, that's the thing. They give you a story that Google has only pulled a little video and it's recycled and they tell you all that, but I think the authorities are holding back such information so they can put out, things in accordance to what they want the public to know. Going hard, welcome back says the suspect was around yesterday on the scene, nobody noticed. Okay. All right. Munchkin says they keep videos close to the belt. Okay. Um, going hard. You have to. There's so many different lives out here. You would have to pin it down, you know, and then we could talk about it. Munchkin says they keep videos close to the belt. That's true. JJ's back in the building. Thank you, JJ. On facts, they said they went through the back. On Fox, okay. On Fox. Okay, so that would be, um, man, we need a better way of sharing information while I'm live, StreamYard, they don't quite get it yet. But I'm going to look that up. Okay, Keith says, then there are things floating around on TikTok about the guy that JLR did the interview with, had the same shoes on in the ring. I wonder if they investigate him yet. Well, what guy is that? What guy was that? Okay, JJ says, plus no signs of break in at the front. Is there any signs of break in at the back? Okay. Vicky says, I'm still wondering why. And thank you guys for all subscribing. I really do appreciate it. I'm still wondering why, where the camera is not hooked up. 84-year-old by herself should have cameras. You know what it is? I'll tell you. When it comes to these cameras, let's say, for instance, you could have a subscription, and let's say you update your credit card. You may not think to update your subscriptions, and it might just take a couple months for you to figure it out. And especially at that age, if money is tight, or there's just so many different reasons why people, if you lived in a place 50 years and never had someone even yell at you, you might feel like, everything is going to be good. Lopez says, who in the world knew? How did they know she had a pacemaker? I'm not sure if they knew that. I don't think that's a key ingredient. I think they just wanted to take her without her cell phone, but who knows? Munchkin says, yeah, he pounces. Okay. Uh, Carolyn says, I think I entered through the back door. I think one entered through the back door and another entered to the front. Okay. That's a good possibility. Okay. Always. Man. So let me address what I don't know how many comments. It's so hard to do this on the cell phone. Caroline says, yeah, you're the one that says, Caroline says the front door in the back. The only issue I would say, just to critical think that out, is that at 147, the front door is disconnected, and then someone else is detected at 212. So if that came from the back, that might be a good point. But those are the time frames where someone is detected. I know there's some channels saying that the 212 could have been in the back, but who knows? I can't really speak on it, but something to think about. Always says her cell phone was left in her house, correct? Manda, yes, I'm back. Thank you. Manda, thanks for all the support. Eve, don't forget to select the like button for Mel. Thank you, Eve. Man, you guys are amazing. These are amazing people. Munchkin says an Eno camp tent are compact. Okay, all right. Could someone document that for me? I can't really document it right now. Let's see. How could I? I can't even. It doesn't even allow me to star. StreamYard is the worst, I swear. Well, actually, no. Maybe I can. Let's see. I was on Facebook yesterday. Okay, here we go. I take that back. It's YouTube that was bad. I could do it here. Okay, I'm in business. Thank you. So I can. This is not how I typically like to go live, but it's a way I can stream to multiple platforms because a lot of people on X have been following, and I want to make sure they get what they need. If you guys could go follow me on Substack, that would help so much because I have to reach a certain point on Substack to go live, and it's been a slow process. Okay. All right. Miracle, thanks for coming over. Thanks for subscribing. Let's see. How can I adjust this? This is so irritating. It only gives me a little bit of. This is so insane. Live streaming on X. Okay, let me see. Does that help? Nope, that didn't help. Okay. Oh well, it's what it is. I can barely see the comments. Okay. Keith says, and they keep talking about a car. There's probably not a car on the scene. The guy looked like he was walking through the neighborhood on a different ring camera. But then that raises the question, how was she transported? And I say, if she left the property, we'll say that. Okay. We'll keep saying if she left the property. Okay. G Moore says, came over from JLR. Thank you. You sound like a very intelligent person. Thank you very much. Thank you for subscribing. Jeff Springer's back. Thank you. Miracle. I wouldn't be surprised if they came in the back and left via the front. Okay. Okay. I think the issue here is that there's a window of time when the family went in first. So the detectives, they wouldn't be able to tell you 100% how it was left upon her departure. Crystal Justice Sub, thank you so much for doing that. Thank you. All right. Always says, was the front door unlocked or was it still locked? That's the question everybody wants to know. The authorities have not revealed if the alleged assailant, left the door closed, if the door was locked. Like, you know, the family came in for that window of time and they have not revealed some of those key details to the public, which makes sense. Keith says, I just want to know why they haven't said nothing about their shoes when the guy Jason has the same pair of shoes on and the pants in the video are golf pants. Okay. Keith, thanks for your comment. I just want to know why you haven't said nothing about the shoes. Yes, Yankees. I'm out of New York. Yeah, so you a Yankees fan? Oh. Oh, okay. Good for you. Good for you. Okay, guys. Okay, there's a lot of white vehicles riding through the scene. I find it a mockery to the public. Okay. Okay. That's a good point. Doug says, shout out. Thank you, Doug. Thanks for subscribing. Miracle Traveling says, I wouldn't be surprised if the splatter around the drops is from coughing blood. Oh my God. See, the thing is, we don't know much about the interior and what was found. So, we don't know. And I want to make something clear for the guys from the media that are really, like I said, I cover a lot of these type of events. Like Sean did it, like some of the big events, right? That I cover. At some point, when things slow down, people turn on each other, and so then you find people trying to just make a story just to keep, because typically people cover these events and they're making money from it, and they're not used to that, just a powerhouse stuff. So when it's starting to slow down and it's time to go back to the mainstream deal, they dislike it, so they start to making up stuff from everybody that was there. And hopefully that is not the case here, but unfortunately it already started, so we're gonna have to roll with it. But the good thing is, JLR, a few others, you know, I'm glad to be here to give some support. You know, I'm not a rookie to this, so I'm here for it. You could take it as far as you want to go. I'll go with it. All right. So Deborah, what's up, Deborah? Say Deborah's name, everybody. Okay, Miracle says you would want the media there because once they leave, it's a donut time for investigators. All right, good point. Um, yeah, in these type of circumstances, you want everybody yelling from the mountaintop. You never know the voice that people want to hear and may hear. You know, that's very important. And depending on the circumstance, you'd want a dog to shout out about it. You want every ear to hear what's being said because it's your family member. All right, Justin, shout out. Thanks for subscribing. Mink says, "Is everyone leaving?" Well, I'll show you. That side is pretty much, it was a tent where JLR is standing now. There was one back behind that vehicle. And then over here, it's dwindling down, dwindling down. So there you have it. In my opinion, JLR, he's been here. I'm going to say Jay. He's been here throughout the time. I think if he had very few views and a little momentum, none of this would have, came up. I would have showed up and they'd be like, okay, learn from me, check me out, you know. But when you show up and you're on top of your game, people don't like it. So then they start to criticize you. They try to find holes in your armor. That's just how this thing is going to go, but we're going to rock with it. All right, Jay says, if Nancy Guthrie owed back taxes, I bet they could find her. Oh my God. Mick says, hey guys, where y'all from? Frederick Miller, the scene died out a lot. Yeah, it did. What's going on? What does that mean? Keith says, I'm from Chicago where people get killed every day and still can't solve a case, but let someone get kidnapped out here. I bet you didn't catch the person in the first 48. Wow, good point. Jay says, rest in Ripley, Ohio. Okay. All right. Always says Phoenix. Okay, you're from Phoenix. Jeff Springer, Atlanta, Georgia. All right. That's a pretty cool place. Manda, Arizona, Scottsdale. Okay. Never heard of it. Posh, are they even checking Phoenix? I haven't even heard about Phoenix. Always says I haven't heard anything about checking in Phoenix. Okay. Nope, haven't. Manda says I'm Scary Keith Jr. Only ever visit Chicago a handful of times. Okay. JC Talks. Good to see you, Mel. Following the story. I was just on JR's and he did a side panel and I seen your cap. I said, wait a minute, that's Mel. So I jumped over here. All right. Oh, JC Talks Trials. Oh my goodness. So let me tell you guys about JC. I hope you're still here. So we covered Sean Diddy Combs' trial together. Oh my goodness, she's my witness. Hold on, this car is coming back. Hey, hold on. So let me tell you what happened. JC, I hope you're still here. Let's see, that was at 3:25. Maybe she's still here. Okay, so at the last day of Sean Diddy Combs' trial, this is after he was sentenced. No, after his verdict came in, I believe. At the end of the day, I come out into the hallway. It's myself, JC Talks Trials, and she's very good at it. And we're standing there. I think I was actually talking to her, and there was a guy that came up because at the federal courthouse, we have floor number 26 where Diddy's trial was, and we were in the main courtroom sitting behind Diddy every day. But then on the floor 24, they had the overflow where if you couldn't get into the main courtroom, you can get into these overflow rooms, right? So a guy had snuck up at the end of the day. He came up to the 26th floor. He's standing there behind me, and I'm talking to JC Talks Trials. And all of a sudden, he fell head first into my lower back. And I guess he was having a seizure. And then Diddy's attorney reached down because his head was banging the floor, not to be too graphic. And Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, reached down and grabbed his head to keep him from banging himself. But that guy put me out of commission for quite some time. I took all of his weight, his head, right into my lower back. So, that was a night. But I'm so happy to see you, JC. Thanks for tuning in. And I think you subscribed a long time ago, but great. We have to catch up. I still have your number. Keith says, yeah, this really sad. Teresa said, wow, shout out to you. Teresa, thank you for subscribing. Jeff Springer, all facts. All right, no lies given. Keith Jr., I'll be up all day thinking about this. Just bring Nancy home. Yeah, definitely. Janet says maybe they should bring in a psychic detective. There's so many on the internet, and they all have a different perspective. So, they have their place in society too. Amanda says he needs to step aside. He lost his brother in hospice the day after Nancy went missing. Step aside, Nanos. Okay. Lopez, amen. Makes so sad. Yes, going hard. She writes, step aside. That's Ellie. Welcome in. Ooh, from the UK. All right. That's awesome. I was out that way not long ago, but welcome in. Thanks for subscribing. Look forward to seeing you. Okay. Lopez says, First Lady with great words. Okay. Thank you, Lopez. Thanks for subscribing. Keith Jr. says, and this is just my perspective, I believe that he was walking the neighborhood like he was hype. What I mean by this is a crackhead to blend in. Okay. Thank you for that comment, Keith. Good point. Sassy, shout out to you. Thanks for subscribing. Minx saying hi to Ellie. 2 times 500 winner says, I believe someone is already in the house and the guy was just coming up on the porch, maybe with things to clean up or something in the backpack. But those barrier doors lock inside. Wow, good point. That's something to think about. Par says we get more information from you guys than the sheriff. Thank you for your dedication. You're welcome. And again, I don't recall anybody making anything up. I see people like brainstorming, but I think it's clear to the audience that hey, we don't know. We have to keep saying that if we knew, this case would be solved. Going hard. Savannah is paying the sheriff to be quiet. Yeah, I'll take one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're a good man, JL. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. All right. Good looking out, JLR. That's good. All right. Keith says the sheriff is making America look bad. Okay. All right. Okay. Jen says, wow. Amanda says, oh, her son fell over. Okay. The lady, Boise with New York hubby. Okay. New Jersey, and shout out to you. That's my cousin. Amanda, okay. That's hey to New Jerseyans. C. Harris says, please hold your camera sideways. Okay. I'm not sure if that's gonna do the trick on a. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try that, but I don't think it's the format that I'm using, but I'll give it a shot. Susan, oops. See, Susan, thank you for subscribing. Okay, okay. Nan says hello from India. Bass Girl says nice clean air. Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Okay, Keith says that's the sheriff from the next county over. His name is Lamb. Okay, is the media gonna go tomorrow? Yeah, that's a very good question. What's next? C. Harris's question. I know I'm gonna be going back to the Alexander brothers trial. That's what I'm missing out on right now. Monday it starts back up, but we'll see what happens here. C. Harris question: why is your chat via a short platform and JLR is via standard format? Okay. I typically stream in this format. That's the reason why. L6 says, make sure you hit the like button. Much appreciated. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Hello. Miracle. They will slack off the moment streams are gone. Okay. Sassy Scarlet. Um, Edward, don't ever mess with the sheriff. Okay. Susan, shout out to you. Thank you for subscribing. Keys, here goes the video you're looking for. Okay. Mark Lamb. Okay, that's the person. All right. My daughter's the sheriff from Eric. Thank you. Edward, thank you for coming in. Thanks for subscribing. Sophie's World. Okay, enjoying for a point of view. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Sassy Scarlet says when someone is on the blood thinner, a little scratch, you can bleed a lot. Good point. Good point, Sassy Scarlet. Mama Bear, shout out to you. C. Harris says, I came here because you're 100% on target with your theory. Thank you very much. It's not what the officers are saying, but I'm just using a little common sense. But thank you very much. I got to remember you, C. Harris. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm going to remember that easy. I had a C. Harris back in Virginia when I was growing up. That's the easy one to remember. Maria says, I'm back. Okay. Welcome back. Christina says, just saw you on JLR and subscribe. Thanks for being here. Thank you for subscribing. Bass Girl says, yes, blood splatter was, you think it was, breathe. You think there was air in it? Like, I think they were saying that on Nancy Grace. Okay. That's a good point. I'm starting to hear a lot of that. That has me thinking. Tony says, seeing you on JLR and came over to subscribe. Thank you very much for subscribing. L6, don't remember who showed the document about the case, okay? Ooh, I never saw the link. We have this link restriction, but you gave me his name. Let me try to find it real quick, guys. Give me 1 minute. I have to go down here. Give me 1 second. The light is so blinding. Hey, Jay. Hey, Jay. Jay. I don't know what this is about, but I don't know who she is. Okay, guys, give me 1 second. Did you guys see that someone wrote a letter to the kidnapped? Did you guys see that? Okay. All right. L6, welcome back. Yes, they don't always send you notice. Okay. Sierra says, I have a technical question. Why is this live chat format different? Okay. We went there. Viva, love you too. Thanks for the support. Christina says most of the folks they talked to say they were keeping the doors unlocked up until Nancy's case. Maybe that's why she didn't think the subscription was worth it. Great point. Great point. It's very solid. Very, very good point. Very good point.
As I keep telling myself.
Okay. All right, let's try to breeze through as many comments as possible. Then I'm going to play that video. Okay, my wrench, thank you for subscribing. Thank you very much. Eva, great job with teaming up with JLR. Yes, indeed. All right. Okay, guys. All right, let's see. L6, hello from JLR. Thank you. Cologne says, what's there to say? Someone went there the night before and prepped the backyard to dispose of a body, then came back the next night to do what they had to do. I don't think she ever left the property. Wow. That sounds the simplest, right? Occam's razor, really simple, but you have to rely. No, my pleasure. You have to rely on the authorities to. You have to rely on them that they search the property well. Wow, that makes me think though. That's a good point. There's another theory floating around that I heard here today. Now, I just want to set the record straight. This theory is not my theory, but I will just share with you guys what someone said. And again, this person's claiming to have some inside source, but they're saying that they're trying to say that the photo of the individual, there's a photo where the person appears to have on different shoes, okay? And they don't have on the backpack, okay? And the authorities just put out that photo along with the video. And people are saying that that photo was taken on January the 11th. And also, it's come out yesterday, I believe, that on January the 11th, someone Googled about Nancy Guthrie. Okay, and also when the authorities were asking for the date of camera footage, they asked for January the 12th, I believe. So that's just something that floated around, and don't hang your hat on it, but it's just something to consider, because if you look at the pictures, when you look at the single shot, some are saying online that the shoes have black in it, but in the video, the shoes are solid white or one solid light color. And I could see it, that when the person's standing back from afar, it's like a two-tone shoe, white and black, but that could be some sort of reflection. I'm just telling you what people are saying. No one knows. That's the key here. Nobody knows, and everybody have their hypotheticals and whatever. That's just how life works. We see that across all media, people coming up with these scenarios and so forth. Okay, Doug says, and welcome back to Doug. JLR also has someone on his chat that claimed to have information language seems similar to ransom letters, amongst other things. This needs to be explored. Wow. Man, I keep hearing these type of statements. Christina says also heard her hearing aids left too. Didn't hear that one. That's the first one. My rent says there was a Nest Cam on top of the pool house. Haven't heard that one. L6 says, could she take her hearing aids out and did not hear them? Good question. Shout out to Shona saying hi to everyone. Okay, Christina, that's L6. Okay, Carol, that's the keys. Drewski Mill is back seen. What did you find out that's new? Nothing really new other than they're going to turn this street into a one-way, I think starting tomorrow. I guess they're going to try to control who comes through. So you never know what that strategy might emphasize. So it might be hard to broadcast the same way. I'm not sure. Okay, Munchkin, do you have a TikTok live? No, I don't. I'm having some TikTok issues right now. Yeah, so I don't have that. Lisa Graham says, since Nancy's children can't choose the FBI over the sheriff, are their rights being violated? Good point. On Sunday, we have a legal show with criminal defense attorney Calvin Johnson. So that question would be good for him. On Wednesday nights, we have law professor Candace Kelly. She teaches law in New Jersey. So that type of question you would want to send to her. I try to have the professionals on the channel, the lawyers, to answer those tough questions. I don't want to tell you something wrong. Okay, let's see here. Lisa says, okay, that's the one I read. Honey Bee, welcome back. I specifically remember the original announcement referencing possible forced entry and signs of struggle in the house. Anyone else remember this? Earlier on, I can't really pin it down. Teresa says, but others in the audience, we could entertain that question, definitely. Teresa says, I don't know what Substack is. Do you have a link? Okay, I'll post it on the community wall today. So that's the Substack link. You know, it's already on my community wall from like maybe 2 months ago. Okay, so um, Eva says, please find Dolly and do an interview with him. Dolly has left, but I did do an interview with him earlier today. Yeah, we brought Dolly on. Yeah, definitely. Ice T says Dolly not there now. Good deal. Rico says new subscriber. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, diehard Yankee fan. All right. Puerto Rico. All right. That's awesome. Sound like a New Yorker. All right, Honeybee. Okay, shout out to Deborah. Okay. Yeah, Honeybee, love New York. Keith, I'm from Chicago, where it goes down. If I have solved this case myself without even being there, I could understand that, especially what's going on with Little Dirk. I would love to hear what you have to say about his case, and also they're using his rap lyrics against him. My rent says at one point Nancy's pacemaker showed a tick and heartbeat. I have not heard that one. L6 says it might have been a deadbolt with a key entry. Okay. Rapture. Okay, says Carol. Honeybee says those are driving shoes. Okay. Mink says, has there been any proof of life? Not that we can recall. Okay, Eva says we want Dolly. Okay, Dolly is gone. But we did on the earlier live, you could catch Dolly. Honeybee says none. He's a good person. He had me on his channel too, so great deal. Carolina, thank you for subscribing. Keys. Or a guy with the ring. Okay. Was that a ring or was it a crease in the glove? Spencer Lewis, where is Nancy? That's the question everybody wants to know. Greg says one of the neighbors told JLR that they never worried about locking the doors. Correct. I heard that yesterday. I think it's on the live from yesterday too. I recorded the neighbor saying that. AI Starseed says the crime scene was compromised. Honeybee says I'll make things clear with these mainstream media guys with one finger. Okay, good deal. Okay, Miracle says one of the psychics says the brush covering the grave has blown away now. It would break my heart in two. Okay. Old time, doing a good job, Mr. Bill. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Thanks for subscribing. Caprello, it's all Trump's fault. All right, Caprello, strong Donald Trump supporter. Okay. Welcome in. It's always good to see you, Caprello. Carolina says, I'm from JLR's. I'm when they took Nancy home after dinner and had paid the perpetrators to be at Nancy's home waiting for her to get home. Okay. Interesting perspective. Jeannie says, sir, what about Annie's son? We haven't heard about Annie's son. Haven't heard anything. Okay, L6, you and JLR would make a good team. Yes, indeed. We covered two interesting places. I'm out of New York, he's out of Florida, so it's pretty cool. Honeybee, Deborah. Okay, we have so many new people. Eva, say my name. All right. That's Destiny's Child. Mink says Debs. Okay. All right, Deborah. You're welcome. That's sophisticated. That was weird. Man, gotta be careful out here. All right. Okay, Capello. Christina says Guthrie being high profile has hindered the case, I think. They're keeping so much quiet, it feels like where are her friends, other family is strange. Very good job, Christina. I wish I could send you a heart for that statement. Thank you. We need to help StreamYard along. I have to do a photo, a video shoot like that. Walking and talking and tripping over. Okay. All right. Hopefully not, but that sounds complicated, but I would try it. Okay, Tara says, I'm glad you're there. I watch you through the Diddy trial, and I like your stuff. Oh, you watch me through the Diddy. That made my day. Yep, you've been around a long time. That's awesome. Rebecca Wolf says, came over from jail. Thank you, Rebecca. Thanks for subscribing, guys. Taz says, hey, you say you're within a mile from there. Ask Junior about the house just for sale right there in Nancy's neighborhood. That's been my big question, but you can't even get through. They won't even let you get through. So, all I could tell you is the old song said, "Don't believe the hype." Bard says, "Man, and thank you, Bard, for coming on. Thanks for
You didn't run out of battery
subscribing."
yet, did you?
Nope, not yet. Thanks, Brian. Um, Brian covered Diddy trial with me, straight out of New York. That's Brian. He used to be with TMZ. Now he's with ABC. He's a heavy hitter, and he gave me some good pointers out in New York. Very nice guy, I must say. But Brian is a heavy hitter. Okay. He's very smart and he thinks for himself. That's what I like about him. So people complain, he'll come back with his own opinion. So it is what it is. I can respect that. I don't expect everybody to agree with me. Honeybee says JLR got 900,000 views on a live stream 2 days ago. Independent media, not mainstream. That's when they started pressuring you guys to leave, in my opinion. Exactly. When you get those type of views, it's going to be a big issue, and you're getting all the support. Yesterday, I heard, and again, I want to make it very clear, okay? And I say this because when the storm comes, we'll see if you guys can weather the storm. Because sometimes, the media goes really crazy, and who knows what they may say or do. And they already told me they listened to all of our streams. And that happened with the Diddy trial too. So, with that being said, I just want to make it clear there's nothing wrong with having discussions and entertaining comments. I have attorneys that are on this channel too. Good advice. We don't go too far out and just make up stuff to get views and clicks. That's very important to this channel. So, when you do hear people complaining, you have to wonder why. And a lot of it's because a lot of them are not around YouTubers who can pull in big numbers. Um, like typically, I do shows like a lunch show that's news at noon. Sometimes we've had 100,000 people come through. 120,000, so forth. But that's our typical show. So YouTube and these social media, they're more rewarding when you have a consistent flow. But yesterday I heard one of the reporters saying, yeah, these YouTubers, they get paid for clicks. And they were trying to understand the process, they were talking about it. So, I get it. So it doesn't really bother me. So I'm just helping you understand, how I understand. If you're on the Titanic and all of a sudden, you know, um, no problem. Nah, it's okay. Thank you very much. All right, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. Okay, that's the pool guy. Carolina says South Carolina. Okay, Carol. That's to Rapture. Jason, the neighbor. He did two unsolicited interviews, one with JLR and then Righteous Monkey. See, I don't know who this person is, so I'll have to ask JLR about that. Christina says Minneapolis. Okay, Taz says I'm in Ohio. YouTubers are the ones that are going to make America up to date on stuff. All right. Um, Rebecca, Vidalia, Georgia. Okay. Deborah says so many great people in the house. Yes, indeed. It's an amazing crowd. The crowd feels strong. You know, it's a strong feeling. Okay, let's see here. Lacey, thanks. You're welcome, and thank you. Deborah says, "Wow, back to the Diddy days." Yeah, the Diddy days were something else. You know, M Stick. I saw a lot of YouTubers bite the dust after the Diddy days. You know, Diddy was had a lot of people floating. You know. Okay, M Stick. I just subscribed. Thank you. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. L6. And also, guys, make sure if the moderators can put in the email address. If anybody want to reach out, feel free to do so. L6 says, there and under the kidnapping ring in Arizona, I watched the documentary. Okay. Wow. Didn't know about that. Robin says, just checking in to say, hey, Mr. Mel, keep up the good work. Friday is my evening to support my DJs on Twitch. One love. Enjoy your evening. Good people. All right. Very good. Trying to stay aware of the surroundings. Okay. Thank you, Robin. Thank you for supporting your people. AI 203 Stanford. I'm very familiar with Stanford and the comedy factory there. I forget the name of it right now, but I go there quite frequently. Okay. M Stick. Diddy. Yeah, Diddy. Diddy is quite the story. L6. Wow. The thing I'm happy about with Sean Diddy Combs, I was troubled, you know, just the human part of me, that they were just putting out all those videos and having a field day when he was trying to do his time. You know, you give him time and then you make fun of him. But it seemed like they got a handle on that. So evidently they figured out which officer probably was putting out the information. Honeybee says, holy shiz, Mel. Okay. Must have been something I said. True crime. Do you think they will check the manholes outside Nancy's? Maybe. That's why they're rerouting. Oh, good question. Okay. Good question. Good question. Good question. There's one right there. Good question. I was standing right by one. So, never know. Never know. Okay, Meek says, ouch, JC, talks trials. Yes, I remember so much was going on. Yes, JC, I'm glad you were still around to hear that. But thank you. I enjoyed covering Diddy's trial with you. Um, we had very close perspectives, and it all worked out great. Um, I hate to say this, but, those trials are never good. But the Diddy trial was just so full of life and energy, and, you know, it's hard to. I don't know if we'll see another one like that where people came from all over the country and really cared about the trial. There's so many trials happening, but I don't know if we'll get another Diddy. And in order to get another Diddy, somebody has to be in hot water. So I don't wish that on anybody. All right, M6 says Okay, Honeybee says, "Oh yeah, guys, go check out JC Talks Trials. Check out her channel. Show her some love. She's awesome, and I'm so glad that she's still rolling with me. I appreciate it. Show her love." And JC Talks moderators, if we could just put her information in the chat so I can star it and we could write a book about it. Okay, M6 says this appears to have been a planned targeted intrusion carried out by an external individual who have had a personal fixation, grievance, and perceived motive. Man, this person is preaching. Ooh, grievance, perceived motive connected to Nancy or her proximity. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. What was that scripture you said?
Romans 8:31.
What did it say?
If God, in the short version, if God is with me, who can be against me?
Oh, right. You preaching today. I like that.
Did you read my book?
Oh, my goodness. God is still writing your story. Stop trying to steal the pen. Oh, my.
Did you see that?
That's a good one.
Stop trying to steal the pen.
All right. Thank you. We appreciate it. Thanks.
What you need?
I'll probably be coming by tomorrow because I sing, and I've been wanting to come and sing.
Oh, great. What time's that gonna be?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, well, what time are you gonna sing?
Probably about 2ish.
Two-ish.
Oh, I have to make sure I'm here.
Religious song?
It could be either, yeah. Or like the Rose from Bette Midler.
Okay. I like religious a little bit better. Maybe other people could come and sing with you.
Imagine.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's not a religious song. Don't you know any religious hymns?
Like, how? Like,
Like Well, you have-
like thou art? Like, or Amazing Grace?
Sure,
That-
something
that
like
kind
that.
of-
Just because you have God on your shirt. So,
Sure.
okay.
I want to tell you a quick story. So
Let me.
Bette Midler, right, is one of my clients. Okay,
What's that?
she's my client. I met her, right?
I didn't
The lady you mentioned, Bette Midler.
Uh-huh.
She lived right beside Donald Trump's brother. His name was Robert.
Uh-huh.
And also, what's his name? I can't think of his name off the top. He just passed away. He had a very unique voice. What was the guy's name? He's in all the good movies. He was in Coming to America. Guys, what was the guy?
Oh.
I can't think of his name right now.
What was this? Oh, I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about. He
but
was in
anyway,
A1.
she's an amazing person, and she lives
I
upstate.
love
She
her.
lives
I love
upstate,
her voice.
upstate New York. It's really cool. Yeah, but she was neighbors with Trump's brother.
I like the wings beneath my wing. That one is beautiful.
Yeah.
And what is the other one? There's a couple that I really love. But I sing all genres within the net.
Mhm. Yeah, and she did some acting too. Yeah.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
some stuff like that. too.
Yeah, she did some acting and singing. So
Who, Bette Midler?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
her in,
yeah.
In Beaches.
yeah,
That was
yeah,
my favorite movie.
yeah, she's an amazing person.
What is your name?
My name is Mel, and the channel is Watching the World.
Watching the
I'm
World. Are
from
you
New
on?
York? Yep.
How can I find you?
You could go to YouTube and put in Watching the World 777. Man, I can't think of his name. Why can't I? Jeez. He just died like maybe a year and a half ago.
Watching the World.
777 right
All
there.
right.
Boom.
Let me follow you here.
But he has a very deep.
Let me
distinct-
see. Was he the main character?
He played Eddie Murphy's father in Coming to America.
Oh,
I'm just having a long day. I can't think of his name right now. And I know somebody probably put it in the comments, but I'll lose my place if I go look at it.
yeah. I'm gonna look it up because
It's not James Earl Jones. Is it
James Earl
Jones?
Jones.
That's it. That's
You
who he
got
is.
it.
Yeah.
there
yeah.
you go.
yeah.
Yeah, he is a great actor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take care, guys.
Thank you. Take care. All right. There we go. Bette Midler. Okay. All right. So, okay. Rebecca said, do you think they came through the back door? Okay. I don't know what to think, but that's not my first pick. Okay. Honeybee says, I do. Yes. Okay. MK says, hi, everyone came from JLR. So happy to have found you. Thank you. Okay. C. Harris's favor. Please stream horizontal format also for the desktop users. I love this channel, but vertical mobile only is hard to see. Okay, so I have to figure this out now. Let's I was trying to get through the comments and deal with that. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Let's address this. Let's see if this makes a difference. Guys, bear with me for 1 minute, please. Does this make a difference to you guys in any way? Now I'm going to lose my spot, but let's see. We'll get back to it. Okay, does this make a difference or no? Can you guys tell me if what does it look like now? Not good, right? Okay, so let me do this. Not good. Okay. That's the reason why. I don't think. Give me 1 second. Okay, so for this stream, it won't work, but going forward, I'll stream the other way. And I may have to switch back to YouTube. So, all right. Sorry about that, but we'll figure it out going forward. No, it's not allowing me to hit landscape while I'm live. So, and I tried earlier. I'll have to figure that out. This is not how I typically go live, so I've never really. Anyway, I'll figure it out. Okay, so let's do the video. We're gonna take a break real quick, and we're gonna go to the Mark Lamb. Guys, hold on 1 second. That would be the perfect safest place to be.
Hey, there's been about 3 or 4 people that have shown up on JRR stream.
Oh, that's what people.
So anytime somebody comes on my chat
Yeah.
and talks, some people in the chat, they're having fun with it.
Yeah.
Hey, first it's a suspect. And I let everyone know too that you're gonna be named as a suspect.
Yeah. All right. Okay, guys. Let's see.
How are you, sir? You're former LE, right? You're former LE, right? Yeah. What's your name?
Maybe he can get you in with the sheriff. You know. I would love to talk to the sheriff. Yeah, something like that. All right, guys, we're gonna just take a moment in a quiet place and listen to the video. It seems quiet over here, out of the way. Okay, so we're gonna check out the video that I've been asked to play.
Is former Sheriff Mark Lamb.
Yes.
Joining us in the studio. Sheriff,
As you have analyzed this case, have you made a determination yourself? Do you come down on a burglary gone wrong or a kidnapping?
Well, originally I was dubious of the letters, the ransom letters. So the kidnapping, felt a little weird. It's not a cartel. It doesn't follow that suit. The cartel doesn't typically kidnap American citizens. They kidnap fellow cartel people, rivals. And so those didn't fit well. And then when we saw the video, it felt like it didn't feel that professional. Yeah.
The guy who's reaching leaves to cover the camera, all that.
Yeah. And, one of my questions is, and we were just talking about this in the back room, is you see the video when he's trying to cover up the camera when he first comes there, but then somewhere he takes the camera. So did he take it after he brought her out of the house? We see the blood on the front porch. Did something go wrong? And did he take the camera at that point? Because up until that point, he hadn't taken the camera. He was trying to use bushes to cover it up. Right. And so now you start to say, well, did something go wrong? And did they then have to remove whatever evidence they could? Which would also explain the non-proof of life and how quiet this case has gone.
What are your thoughts on, there has been a lot of criticism on how the authorities have handled the investigation. Should they have opened it back up to the family or not initially before the FBI popped in? It was so much back and forth.
We're in a 24/7 day and age where everybody's monitoring this case. And so it's really easy to armchair quarterback it and say, look, they did this wrong or they did that wrong or they could have done this better. I've kind of refused to go down that road.
Good, yeah.
I think that when you show up, it is not illegal for an adult to go missing. So initially, you're going to treat this case as, hey, maybe she's at the casino, maybe she's not home. And then you see some evidence that might lead that there might be foul play. And you always want to hold the scene as long as you can. But I don't have all the details. So for me to question whether or not why they released the scene back to the mom, maybe there was, some reasons for that, or to the family, I mean.
Yeah.
So I don't want to sit and question it because I don't have all the facts on it. But, in hindsight, you can say, yeah, it would have been nice to keep that house much longer.
I just wonder if you can, as you go back in your memory banks, if you have any cases of missing persons that can sort of inform how you would proceed in a case like this. And just in terms of, the amount of tips that come in on a case like this, how do you prioritize 20,000 tips?
It's a tremendous amount of tips. And we've had cases where we've gotten a lot of tips, not this many tips. But right when I became sheriff, and I talked about this case I do a true crime channel now at Lamb Investigations, but I talked about this case. I came into the office in 2017. A month later, at the end of January, we had a case where somebody found a vehicle with blood around it in the desert down at the south end of the county, and somebody was missing. And we started putting it together. We actually arrested a guy based on social media. His searches online, he had actually created a fake profile and catfished this guy out. He worked as a corrections officer. We looked for the body for 4 days, and it was 4 days later that in the helicopter, unfortunately, I'm not trying to, hopefully this isn't the case with this case, but we found his body charred and left in the desert. We did a DNA test and it was indeed him. That guy now is sitting on life in prison without parole. And so it is that we've had these types of cases. Fortunately, it didn't go as long and it didn't come out the way we wanted it to. We would have loved to have found him alive, but we didn't. And
you bring up an interesting point, though, when you said he did something on social media, and there's been a lot of chatter. Obviously, we live in a day and an age where technology is, at our fingertips, and they say that, in fact, could be the key to solving what's going on with Nancy Guthrie.
I think ultimately that will break the case. You'll find these search engines, but you've got to find what channel to go down, what path to go down. Maybe you get that one investigative lead, and then when you start to crack into the digital evidence at their homes, that's when this case will start to unfold. You got those people that were detained. Now, when you get those search warrants are going to be very limited because the judge has very little to work off of. So I imagine the scope was very limited on those houses where they detained those folks. And so maybe they didn't have the ability to take the digital evidence from the home. But digital evidence, I think, will ultimately be what cracks this case. And maybe the DNA.
Daphne, this is a great thing about this streaming show. People comment on YouTube, and she said they said the family was cleared, the video, and then later or at one point they said that everybody was still a suspect, but they have cleared the family. How does that process? How does the process work when you start with the close circle, widen out, and start clearing people?
Well, over 90% of these cases are done by somebody who's very familiar with the family or even family members themselves. And I know it hurts feelings, but this is how you have to treat that case. And my guess is they zeroed in on the family members and did what they probably had to do. You're going to look at all of their social media. You're going to get their phone, dump their phones, see who they were chatting with, what IP towers, what cell towers they were bouncing off of, cell phone pings.
Interesting.
These are all things that you're going to look into. And I would imagine these are part of what they use to clear the family. I've heard that there was a polygraph maybe that was done to clear the family. You're never ever truly cleared until you find who did it. And so what they've basically said is they don't have any evidence. This is how I viewed it and viewed it as. You don't have enough evidence to continue to look at them as suspects, but that doesn't mean that something may not pop up down the road.
If you eat butter daily, this is what happens to your.
Okay, there you have it. Okay, this case is so hectic. Okay.
Come on in, Jim. Got the Jim got it. All right, we'll show you like this. Yeah, we'll see you. Come on in. Come on, Jim.
Okay. Brittany says, why don't others get this much media attention? Good question. In my opinion, only from L6. And that other message was from Brittany. Okay. Exploring with Jim, Rebecca. Okay. All right. Why don't others get this much media attention from Brittany? L6 says, in my opinion, only. I wonder if some type of law enforcement is involved in this. Great questions. Okay. Brittany says, this case is so hectic. I'm so sad. See her says, no footage after the foliage. So I believe that's what they use to pry it off. Okay. Nobody touches my baby. Okay. Jeep girl. What I use. Okay. So there's a vehicle. Nanos. Rebecca says Nanos is covering for somebody. Okay. All right. Brittany says, I think there's more than one person that did this very sad, heartbreaking, why don't missing children get this much media attention? So sad. I pray everyone is missing it. You about to go live, brother?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. No sweat. It's all good. Okay, let's get it set up over here. They're filming there too. Let's see here. Let's find a quiet place to play videos and answer questions. We'll go by the plants over here. You know what? At nighttime, that's right, though. It gets busier at night because that's when everybody comes in to do their little gigs, you know? That's not bad, you know? If they just have to do quick blurbs twice a day or something, that would be all right. Okay. Here we go. Okay, Brittany says, I think there's more than one person. Okay, that is did this very sad, heartbreaking. but why don't missing children get that much? Okay, we covered that. Rebecca says, man, it's okay. Let's see if everything new. Okay, the reporters will soon be doing nightly news at 5. You're in Colorado, okay? All right. Okay, Patrick says, why are they doing it? What are they doing there? Okay. Honeybee exploring with Jim is so amazing. He's been searching. Okay. Um, Eva says she's got a concert tomorrow. There too, singing Bette Midler, The Rose. Okay. Yes, indeed. When I first met her, I did not know who Bette Midler was, but yeah, that movie Beaches is one of the saddest movies I've ever seen in my life. You know. Anyway, I won't get into that. Rebecca says, if there's somewhere you think should be searched, tell Jim with dirt bike. Okay. Patrick says, with no money and phone. Okay. Jeep Girl says, if it's okay, I can promote your site. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Nice. Appreciate that. Patrick says she's in a house somewhere. Okay. Akron says alien. Okay, Maureen says Nancy's birthday was a few days before. She was taken. Nancy has really bad hearing. She wore hearing aid. She probably took out a bedtime. Okay. Patrick says I'm on the way to get it back. Okay. All right. Rebecca says Jim's been out searching. Terry, and thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really do appreciate it. Terry said, "What's going on? Can you recap your story?" We're just live streaming here at Nancy Guthrie's home, waiting for an update, giving people a courtside view of what's happening. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we covered that. Okay. Okay. Let's see. All right, Brittany, shout out to you, Deep Girl. You broke 200. Good job. Okay. All right. Oh, okay, likes. I was wondering what you. Unfortunately, I can't see that on StreamYard. 215 likes. Thank you. Okay, Elizabeth, welcome in from Scotland, UK. That's awesome. Sounds like an amazing place. Brittany says hello. Okay, very good. Click the thumbs up, guys, so the algorithm puts the channel on the map. All right, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's so true. Thank you. Okay, thank you, thank you. All right. Okay. Eva says, thank God those ladies are gone. Okay. Okay. Very good. Okay, we covered. Okay. Deborah says, the weak amount of weeds, lame. Think they would stick on. Okay. Thank you. Deborah says, okay, covered that. Brittany says, like and subscribe, everyone. Thank you, Brittany. Appreciate that. Okay. Patrick said they took my Jeep today. Okay, not sure what happened. Jeep Girl says Sheriff Nanos bungled the case, just like Boulder did the John Bonet case. Okay, thank you. L6 says, and he was turning to find something to cover the camera when he put in his pocket. Maybe some people needs glasses. Okay. Okay, Mandata, they look like sage to me. That sounds about appropriate, Sage. Okay. Rebecca says, I'm not law enforcement, but even I know not to release a crime scene. Good point. Okay, Jeep Girl says, I am curious about the letter that's over and among the flowers that is addressed to the kidnapper. Did anyone open it? It's floating around online, so I believe it was open. I believe so. I'm pretty sure they're monitoring it, perhaps. Thank you, Ann Kelly, for subscribing. Okay, thank you, thank you. All right, back at you, Eva. Yeah, Brittany, media is packing up. Some are leaving, and there's a few remnants that come back at around 5 or so to give their, breakdown. Maureen says the 2-minute garage still open and closed don't make sense. Someone would have had to help her out of the car who wouldn't walk the mom or mom-in-law in the house that time of night. You know what's crazy about life? I'll tell you one thing. Sometimes we have to pay for the sins of other people, you know? And that's the tricky part. Sometimes, your family members get caught up in stuff and, you know, you end up paying the price for that, for whatever that's worth. But anyway, let's get back to it. Okay. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Okay. What's crazy about life? That's it. Sometimes you never know what hits you. Sometimes it's just the people around you getting caught up in stuff. And, also down that same line, you try to help them and then you become the honeypot. And then when you say no, sometimes maybe you're not saying no to the family member. You might be saying no to somebody else that they're trying to, pay off a debt or whatever. So when the heat comes, you catch it too. That good Samaritan role has jammed up a lot of people because a lot of times the good Samaritans start to look like food. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful. And so, that's the part that people don't quite get sometimes. Okay. Gold Digger says, my thought process, only IMO. Maybe they opened the garage with remote and drove in, then drove out to close with remote. That could warrant the 2 minutes. Okay. Yeah, because there was extra space in the garage based on the video we saw of the tow, right? Good job, Gold Digger. You're on the case, huh? Man. Okay. All right, all right. Brittany said, very good life lesson, Mel, sir. Thank you for that. Yeah, it happened. So, Oh, see how it says, but then how would they get back out? Good point. Mm-hmm. Yep. Gold digger says right, Mel. Drive in, drop Nancy off, drive and close the door with the remote. Right. Family member would more than likely, if they're picking you up all the time, you would leave the remote in their car. That makes sense. You know, trusted person. Honeybee says, I think they would want to make at least the chat is moving. Least amount of noise, bringing the least amount of attention that eliminates moving cars. Okay. Okay. Gold Digger says they have the remote in their car. Okay. 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 Patrick says, me too, Jeep. Okay. Very good. Well, we're 5 minutes away from 5 o'clock here. Yesterday we had way more people reporting from here. Seems like a slow news day, guys. Patrick says, where's Nancy car at? Honeybee says, sorry, I thought you were talking about the K-napper. Okay. Okay, Honeybee says, guys, this is a pretty big deal that Trump made a statement last night that today the media is leaving. Yep, that's what I said last night. I wonder how that would affect. Will we see a difference today? And I can confirm. Hmm, okay. Okay. Honeybee says it was predictable and now confirmed. Okay. Okay, this is a piece of the puzzle, in my opinion. Sierra says precisely that's why YouTubers are so important. White House can't control the narrative. All right. Yeah, so you may see some big changes coming down the pipeline. You know, you might see some attempts at some major changes. I can't see it being pushed in New York. New Yorkers, I don't see it. You know, people expect to see streamers coming through at this point. Well, you heard what happened with TikTok, right? If you go to TikTok, you listen to those streamers, they talk about how their money has been cut tremendously. So that's a way of probably cutting it down too, you know. So keep cooking, honeybee. Keep cooking. All right. Honeybee says Savannah's mom and sister both consistently posted negative about Trump and his policies throughout both terms. Oh wow. Okay, Annetta, welcome back. Have a great dinner with JLR. Okay. All right, all right. Thank you, Annetta. Thank you guys for subscribing to the channel and all the support. It's amazing, beautiful. Island Beauties in the house. Okay. Welcome in, Mimi. Very good. All right. All right. Alan Beauty. Okay. Listening and working. All right. Well, I don't think we have that many major updates. And the silence is telling you something. We just don't know what it is, right? Okay. Denise says, your thinking makes the most sense. You open the door. I'm retired and I would open my door at an hour in case someone needed help. You know what? I'm not laughing at you, but you know the scripture that says in the Gospels, it's talking about if your neighbor comes to you. It says, I think it was Jesus that said, I mean, this is according to what's written. It says, if you who among you, if your neighbor come to you, um, I guess in the middle of the night asking for bread, but not, give them some bread or what have you, something to that effect. So that made me think of that. Most people, like in this type of, when you're in a comfort area, you live there 50 years, you probably would do that. Right? But thank you, Denise. Thank you for subscribing. I really do appreciate you. Aaron says, I wonder if they counted her meds just to see. That's a good one. Jeep Girl says, I'm old and I never open my door once it gets dark. Okay. Yeah. But if you guys want to, because if you use AI is pretty good at scanning through and keeping up with the news. I don't know if any of you utilize it, but if you ask AI to confirm what has been put out in regards to the house being broken into, whether it was the front door, the back door, ask those questions. You'll be shocked to see, or ask it to pull up the articles so you could compare. It's pretty accurate. In most cases, it'll show you what's been already put out. But the rumors come out so heavy with these cases that you process all this information, and sometimes you fall asleep processing information that the next day you can't decipher whether your memory is coming from a legitimate source or a non-legitimate source. So, earlier on they said the back door, front door, left open, and two cameras gone, from one from the front, one from the back. You hear all these different things coming out, and then over time, those old blurbs, they disappear and you don't even know what's really true anymore. Jeep Girl says, okay, I've read that. Brittany says, how long will you be covering this case, Mel, sir? How long will you be in Arizona? Not sure yet. Depending on what happens over the next couple of days. Honeybee says it's still public. If you look through the public Facebook, for example, such as one social media platform as recent as a week before Nancy was taking offensive posts toward Trump. Yeah, now that right there I get. But I'm talking about like the facts of, hold on guys, 1 second. We got the news. This is the news helicopter. Okay, yes. Yes, this is the verse I think of. Okay, great. I figured you were going there. Denise, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. M Stick. I don't think it's as scattered as the internet makes it look. I think it's probably more contained and delivered than people assume. Okay, great point. Marianne says, yes, she heard a familiar voice. Or you would probably open up if they say it's the police, right? So you don't know how that thing went. Dee Dee says, just an idea. Maybe it's advantageous not to have media covering so much of the case, limiting the perp's access to information to the investigation. Good point. That's very solid. I think that's the strategy they're using. And that's why you get so much private speculation from people. And then after a while, you don't even know what's true anymore. It's a shot in the dark. Okay, Christina says, knock on the wall, not the door, because I'm not answering at night. Okay. Maureen said, did she have a dog? I understand that as of last, now this is what I've heard. Okay, I cannot confirm this at all. But as of Christmas, she had a dog, and some people are saying the dog passed away right afterward. So I don't know, but that's what they're saying around here. Mary says, why else would she open the door? Right? That's if that happened. You see what I'm saying? Denise says, I've been living here 50 years. I know everyone here. Oh, okay, so you're a local. All right. Well, hearing it from a local, man, that's a lot of weight. So I'm glad you agree with the theory. Again, we don't know for sure, but I'm just saying. So if I was at my home, state and had some access to some things, I could show you. Because a lot of the things you're not hearing from the police, which makes sense, but people are coming to their own conclusions. But it appears that the blood was pooled around the front door, and that could have been the place of impact. See what I'm saying? So if that's the place of impact, then that would explain it. But not having information about what happened inside the house, you can only just continue to think on it. You can't come to any solid answer. Okay, Gold Digger says yes, she has a dog that passed away in December. Okay, so we were right about that. C. Harris says, I think it was someone she knew came knocking at 2 a.m. pretending to have an emergency. Preach on it. People are starting to, oh my, you're far too kind. Thank you very much to Denise for the support. Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very much for that. Chase, and thank you for subscribing. It means a lot to me. And that you've been living in this neighborhood for 50 years. Wow. I just had to have a moment of silence for that. I still have an issue. And I'll just say this for Denise, Earlier on, it's kind of like I'll give you guys an example because I cover all these cases in New York. You guys will see it when I return. Well, Luigi Mangione case, it's real tricky because sometimes you're not given the right facts on purpose just so they're trying to decipher. And so, with that being said, sometimes the police will or the authorities will put out a ruse. In fact, like Luigi Mangione, they were basically lying to him about the circumstances. And ultimately, that's why his defense is trying to get the case thrown out because the police were using ruse. And I think sometimes when it comes to the public, they put out those same type of strategies. And so now you run with an idea, but when they cross-examine or when they examine a perp and they answer correctly or they say something, then that's how they figure out it's the right person. So in this particular case, the media earlier on, they put out hi, how are you? What's that? Yeah, New York. Yeah, great. They put out this 42 minutes, right? and you just run with the 42 minutes, and you now people build on the 42 minutes. They don't do any critical thinking, and that's what this channel is about: critical thinking, right? We question everything, right? But when you look at it, at 1:47, they say the camera is disconnected. This is AM in the morning. At 2:12, right? They say that there's motion. Now, this is what the sheriff said. There's no footage, but the camera at 2:12 picked up motion. Now, he said, because there's rumors that there's cameras inside the house, right? And the sheriff has recently confirmed that they're trying to get the footage allegedly from that. But he said that at 2:12, and Denise, this is for you. 2:12, there's motion, but no footage. Okay. So, but he says, we don't know if it was an animal or a human. So that leads you to believe that the sheriff is talking about this motion is outside, right? Why would you have a raccoon or a skunk walking around in your living room, right? Okay. So that means motion is still outside. And then around 2:20 or 2:20, the pacemaker disconnects. So you're not talking about 42 minutes, but if you listen to people just talking and yapping, you'll be going around saying, well, what, my God, ain't B? What was he doing in the house for 42 minutes? He must have been eating. You just go on this crazy tangent. And then when you look at the real numbers and think it through, you start to realize that, wait, so we're down to 16 minutes. And that 16 minutes doesn't mean it says motion. It didn't say had access to the house. So you don't even know, even in that 16 minutes or whatever you have left, what time the person actually made contact with her. So you see how that's much different than just taking people's words that sit on TV or YouTube and just regurgitate what they heard somebody else say. So anyway. Okay. Chase says, will you tell JLR he better make reservation before they go? His chat is too busy. Okay. All right. Okay, I'll make sure I tell him that. Okay. All right. Jeep says her dog passed away in December. Okay, it's weird though, because some of the stuff Nano said at first seems to be gone. Yes, the back door was forced entry at the first from Nanos. Really? So, if that's the case, can you send me the information? Can you put that in the chat? I would like to see where they said the back door was forced entry. People are saying that, but I would really like to see that. Okay, so let's, if you could, let's see here. Christina, if you don't mind just putting a link. Oh, we can't do links. Tell us how to Google. Well, I guess we could Google the back door, but it doesn't come up when I look for it because I've been trying to confirm that and I haven't been able to find it. Okay, Mona, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Shout out to you. Jeep Girl says, I don't understand why they would leave the back door open. Did they leave the door open when he dropped her off so he could come back? Then when she closed, it's confusing. Okay, good question. Okay, yes, thank you to Mona. Sierra says, my theory, 147 doorbell came taken down and they began banging the door. 2 a.m. spike on pacemaker because she wakes up suddenly. 2:12, Cam's pick up movement as she's taken. 2:28, she's out of range. Okay. Okay. Nice. That's a good theory. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Eva says male interview the guy JLR was right now. He knows his stuff. It seems to be from the East Coast as well. Okay. I don't see him interviewing anybody right now. But I'll definitely ask him who it is. Thank you, Eva. 212, she's getting up, getting robe, and answering the door. Okay. Okay. Honeybee says, guys, look at the size of that house. Please keep that in mind when you're wondering if she opened the door. Okay. Honeybee, can you elaborate more? Tennessee Chick is here. What's the theory? Just joining. Okay. Welcome in. Denise, awesome. Great job. Clarification if she's willingly open the door. Okay. All right. Scrooge says never saw him on Fox. Okay. All right. Nancy, Mona says Nancy was to testify at farmer fraud case, $32 billion case, if this is true. Have never heard that before. Yes, everybody show love to Denise. She's awfully wonderful. Thank you. Mona says thank you for the super chat. Denise, okay, honeybee, wow, Jeep girl. They have said at the front door. Hey.
You YouTubing?
Yeah.
Gatorade?
Oh, thank you.
I got,
Okay.
which one do you want?
I'll take this.
That's Pepino right there.
Okay, thank you very much.
What's your channel?
Watching the World 777.
Watch it on, right on.
Yeah.
Mark the Shark 943.
Okay, Mark. Oh, I'll cover you through the night.
Oh, yeah?
Every morning I'm listening to you
Yeah.
because I'm like, man, you out there in the dark. You must be a bold soul.
Yeah, it's me and Jacob out here, but I woke up early today. But yeah, man, just trying to
I
support
pick
other
up, I pick
YouTubers.
up your voice, you know?
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Right on, man.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah, you too.
Yep. That's awfully kind of him. He's Mark the Shark. He travels. Oh, that's right. Gold Digger. She knows about him. So shout out to Mark. Okay. Tennessee Chick says, I don't understand how there's no prints on anything disrupted but the blood drops at the front door. I just keep. Okay. So Tennessee Chick, I don't want to speculate, you know, but what you're asking falls in line with what I was trying to say. So, guys, Tennessee Chick says, I don't understand how there's no prints or anything disrupted with the blood drops at the front door, right? I just keep thinking about that. Okay, so the theory that was presented today, okay? Are you there, Tennessee Chick, right? So 147, the camera's disconnected. 212, there's some motion. After that, and this is based on the fact that it appears nobody knows anything for sure. All right, we're just answering questions and having a discussion. But the guy appears to knock on the door, like he's about to knock on the door. He sees the camera. He addresses the camera. We assume that after the camera is gone, you go right back to business and you knock on the door. Now the camera is obstructed or gone. You hear the knock at the door. You come to the door. Somebody says, hey, it's the police. Open up. Or they say, this is your cousin Bob, you know. I would imagine it would have to be somebody closer than a cousin to get you to open your door at night. But the person, let's say the person opened the door. Then the blood comes from an altercation at the front door. And because it's a targeted event, they just take her. They're not taking diamonds and pearls. They're after her, and could be out of there. may not be much activity in the house. That's why you can't find anything in the house because she was taken from the door. You see what I'm saying? So we don't know. We don't know. But Tennessee chick, that's what would answer your question. Okay. Okay. Honeybee says it's a security door. Yeah, it's double locked. You gotta. I showed you guys. There's a deadbolt on the front door. Okay, Sierra says 147 cam disconnected person. She shows bangs on the door. 2 a.m. pacemaker spikes because she started awake 2 to 2:12. She's getting up, get the robe, and answers door 2:12 to 2:28. She's grabbed and out of range. Yeah, not a whole lot. Not the person may not have ever went inside the house. The blood, the everything. I mean, it's that's why if you listen to the sheriff, he's saying it's targeted. See what I'm saying? If it's targeted, you're not coming to try to look for a watch or gold or something like that. You're just doing what you got to do. All right. So anyway, we'll move on from that. All right. Sierra says 5:08 p.m. Typo reposting. Okay. Okay. L6 says that's what I was talking about. Sheep dipping. It's the same. Okay. Okay. C. Harris says exactly. I made a note to look up sheep dipping tonight to get understanding. How are you? Good. All right. Okay. Yeah. C. Harris. Exactly. The 42 minutes is crap. Yeah, but it takes some critical thinking to come to that understanding. You know what I mean? If you just start listening to what everybody's saying, um, you know. We, as a society, right, we are very reactive people, and swiping every day, all day, is making us even worse. We just want to react, and nowadays we want to react within a minute. If a video is 20 minutes and you can get somebody to watch the entire 20 minutes, you have a gold mine nowadays because most people want instant coffee, they want instant tea, they want instant videos. They want you to get to the point. There's no need. I don't want to know how they got there. Just give us the give me the gist of it. Sometimes parents will say that to their children. The child's trying to explain to the parent. Billy Bob Tuesday at school from Alabama. Hey, I don't want to hear all that. What did he do to you? He slapped me. Okay, let's go slap him. That's just how the world works, right? Right? You guys can dig that. So nowadays, because of that whole process, people don't pay attention to the points. Let me give you an example with Luigi Mangione case that I covered in New York. He has two cases, and I get it from talking to people. And so allegedly he took the life of Brian Thompson in New York City, right? Shot him in the open, broad morning daylight. Most people are not paying attention to the case because they said, oh, I saw the video. He did it. He's going to get life, or, they're going to throw the book at him, right? Now, here's how people work. They'll go on with their life. They won't listen to the details. They'll see a guy like me on YouTube talking about the case. They were like, oh my God, all those documents, that sounds boring. You sit in court all day. That is so boring. We don't want to hear all that. And they go on with their life. And then one day it comes out on TV. Breaking news. Luigi Mangione gets off free. Now everybody get on their horse and bike and car, and they want to go down to the courthouse and battle. How you let this guy go free? You guys are idiots. You see how that works? People don't really pay attention. So when it comes to this case, people might listen to it. Okay, there's a missing lady, and then you go to this channel. They say this channel say that, and you keep going. And people come to a general idea about the case, but the problem is you're just coming to these conclusions. You just hear 42 minutes and you say, oh my God, the guy was in the house 42 minutes. And you tell your neighbor calls her daughter down in Texas and she tells her husband, the husband goes to the job and they're talking about 42 minutes. When 42 minutes is just what they're isolating as the beginning and the end of the occurrence on the property. But people are just coming up with their own theories and everything else. Okay. All right. Honeybee says bingo. CHR says I just said the same thing. L6 says distraction from what really going on. Okay. Honeybee. Cameras inside with no security. That's a big problem, you know. Pretty Thing says that was the travel with Tay Tay. Okay, not sure what that is. And that it says 7 p.m. with JLR and streamers. Oh, okay.
JLR got a seat for you if he wants to come over. Talk to him real quick.
Oh, okay.
No hurry if you're.
That's all right. We can get to it. Listen, they want. Oh man, I think it's. My brain is not working right now. I think it was sharp. Someone said that you guys have to make reservations or go early or something for dinner.
Yeah.
Make reservations.
Yeah, I think someone did.
Okay. But I want to get the name right, so I had to go back and look it up. I think it was Christina, I believe.
So. No, he knows.
Yep, I think that's who it was. Yeah, look at that. That screen is crazy.
That's breaking news.
Oh, you do?
Check this out.
Oh boy.
We want you to come to dinner with us at the Longhorn Steakhouse. My
Oh, yeah?
treat. Yeah.
Okay.
You want
Cool.
to come?
Yeah, of
I
course.
knew you were in.
Of course.
I knew you were in. 7 p.m. Oracle and River Road. So it's just for the streamers that have been out here grinding, out here, you know, doing the content and everything like that. We all deserve a steak. And a lot of people contributed too. So
All right. Thank you guys for supporting, watching.
He's coming. I told you he was going to come.
You.
I told you he was going to
Of
come.
course.
Absolutely.
You should have answered for me. You know,
Nice.
I didn't think. All right. Let's keep moving here. Man, oh man. Oh, look at the sky. Prince says those are chemtrails, right? You said 7, right?
7 o'clock.
All right. Cool.
And then while we're there, everybody's like, just do it. We're not gonna live or anything, but we're gonna just make a couple minutes.
Yeah, whatever. I think it was a Christina that said, make sure you make your reservation. Someone did say that here. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. All right. Thank you. Angel says it too.
It is good. Yeah, we did it. Yes, it was good.
Denise says 42 minutes doesn't make sense. Exactly. Yeah. Let's talk about it. Okay. All right. Let me go back to my quiet place over here.
Oh, don't get me started on that one, Jamie. I have a lot of mixed feelings on that case.
Hey, I'll be back down here if you
All
need
right.
me. Right?
Okay.
All right.
That changes.
Let's chat before you go.
Okay.
All right. My name is Mel.
Mel.
Yeah,
I saw you on JR Low's channel this
Oh,
morning.
okay. Yeah, I'm out of New York.
Yes, that's what they said. Are you with the other guy that was in the LV sweater?
No.
Okay,
No,
okay.
it's just me.
Okay, just you, Mel. I'm Tay
Yeah.
Tay.
Okay.
Yes,
Good. You're
I'm
local?
Tay. I'm local.
And what's your channel?
Travel with Tay Tay.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I will follow you.
Okay, I'll follow you too. Everybody check out Travel. You want to say something? You okay? It's okay. It's
Yeah,
okay.
not
All
yet.
right.
I
But
knew you said you wanted
travel
to
with
chat
Tay
later.
Tay, guys. Yeah, before you leave, because
Yes, and tell
I
me
wanted
your
to make
channel.
sure we had each other's information.
Yes.
It's Watching the World 777.
Watching the World 777. You know, I'm Westbury, Long Island.
Oh.
I was born in Jersey.
Oh.
So I'm like,
Ooh.
yes.
You're
When
heavy
you
hitter.
said New York, I'm like, that's East. That's what I'm talking about. East Coast represent.
Yeah, that's right. We go hard. That's
Watching
right.
the World 777.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. I forgot where I was now. I was right across from her. There we go. Here we go. Okay, let's go. Right. Gold Digger says, thank you guys for supporting the channel. Traveling with Tay Tay. Okay. Thank you. What part of Jersey? I don't have to ask her that. Hi, from the Bronx, Asia. From the Bronx. Yep, I'm through the Bronx all the time. You know, there's so many streamers out here. Hi. I met so many today. So they'll have to have good luck to push all the streamer union out of here. It's crazy. Okay, let's see here. Hello, man, starting to get chilly. Okay. Yep. In my opinion, I think it's important to remember that. Okay. Honeybee says we ever remember that we originally heard before the FBI got involved and started silencing the details, like the blood found inside the home, an obvious sign of a struggle. Okay. So that was inside the home. Okay. All right. Possibly. Yeah, I've seen some suspicious things, but you know, you just have to stay on your square, you know. Honeybee says there's a reason mainstream media isn't giving the information, and FBI is doing what they do. But I'm a realist, okay? Thank you. Thank you for all the participation. G Girl says I watch all the videos those guys post where they walk around New York City. I've never been. I do that too. I walk around New York City, so check me out sometimes, especially when it's warm out. Kit Kat, thank you for the dinner. Okay. Yes, Denise did that. She's so amazing. She's local here. So nice to connect with Denise. That's awesome. She has a good sense of what happens around here. Okay, yeah, the old school New York City. Yes, I met many of the neighbors. I surely did. I do it on this channel. Hello. I do the walking on this channel sometimes. Rebecca, how you doing? Rebecca says sheriff called in homicide detectives in the very beginning, so they saw something inside the home. Okay. Okay, Rebecca. Sheriff called in homicide detectives in the very beginning, so they saw something inside the home. Okay. That's intriguing. I think I would, yeah. I mean, you know, there. That's a good point. Okay. Although I do think the blood at the door would suffice to if something major went down. Right. Ooh, man, I almost deleted something. Okay. Eva says, can you guys live stream your streamer dinner? I think they said they didn't want to stream the dinner for whatever reason, but at some point they would or something like that. See her says, tell Tay Tay hello from Harlem and South Bronx. I live at the corner of 125th and Martin. I was just there. You know what I was covering? If you want to see that area, like right now, I mean, recently, I covered the nurses on strike in New York City. I went and spent a day or two with a couple of days with the nurses. We did quite a few shows for the nurses on strike because I knew some of those nurses. And I was right through. I got off at 125th and I went by Martin Luther King. You would get a chance to see all of that in my video, my live stream. Honeybee says yes, there were homicide investigators there from the jump. Yeah, I did hear that part. So they saw something, right? And it's weird. I've been out here streaming, and then last night I did a show with Mama Flips. It's been rough. Has the daughter, Savannah, who I've seen in New York City, the Today Show, has she put out any more videos? Like, what about TMZ? I haven't had a chance. Maybe when I get down with the comments here in a few minutes, I'll try to pull it up. Someone should check the front lawn for evidence. No, they won't allow. Yeah, I heard that the police have been doing that or whatever. They're going to start tomorrow with a whole new process. But they won't allow anyone to walk on that lawn. Okay, Honeybee says there's a detail about disturbed furniture. Okay. If you could share that, that would be awesome. Okay. Asia says metal detector. Good. Oh my battery is. Oh my goodness. Hold on one second. Okay, so all right, so we have power. Okay, man. And it's super chilly out here. It's unbelievable. Okay, let's see. Honeybee, double tap screen. Okay, Asia, Sunny from Puerto Rico. Shout out to you. Okay. Brian is in the building. Shout out to Brian. Okay, Rebecca says, all right, who was that? We just had a new Asia. Thank you for the super chat. You're far too kind. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's give Asia a warm welcome and some love. Thank you. Okay. Rebecca says, in Asia, thank you for subscribing to the channel. That means the most. Thank you so much. Rebecca, listen to a scanner because they will probably send out SWAT while you are eating. Yeah, right. That's the way life works, right? We'll be out of there quick. Okay, Honeybee says weird, and we've seen the type of behavior before from the FBI. Okay, great. Okay, so Honeybee said no, Savannah has not. Wow. She's been silent publicly. Whew. Man, oh man, this is tough. Gold Digger says not that I'm aware. Mel, no, Savannah hasn't put out any more videos. Okay. Honeybee says one more thing, and then I'll be quiet. And what other scenarios do you see them release the crime scene and take the tape away so quickly? That's a good question. Paige just says there was no break-in. I think the doors were unlocked. Uh, See, I have trouble with that unlocked business. I have real trouble with that. Um, elderly people, right? One thing about them, typically, their life is less busier than everybody else's. So they tend to take care of the most important things. And they'll ask you, hey, did you cut the stove off? Did you lock the door? Did you leave the iron on? You know what I'm saying? When you're busy in life and one person's mad at you, the other person's happy with you, the kids want this, you know what I mean? It's hard to focus. You have so much clutter in your brain, in your mind. But elderly people, I mean, they're not so busy, so they think about those key things, and they've been thinking about those things for a long time. So I have trouble. I would lean more toward opening the door for a familiar voice or the police. Okay. All right. Do you feel it's odd that the last video was just her? It's very telling. Very telling. Um, Let me try to, because these major news outlets, they're just monitoring and they're just making us the story now. Um, I have to be careful what I say. How could I say it? Okay, let me give you guys an example. Let me see, which case do I want to use? Okay, Nicolas Maduro, right? Uh, for his case, when I went to his hearing, he's the president of Venezuela. I went to his court case, interacted with him a little bit. Basically, he came out and said, Happy New Year to us. I want to make that clear. I'm not in cahoots with him or anyway. But he did for some of us that were sitting in my area with the media, he said what he said. But for the charges that the United States has hit him with is number one is conspiracy. And I tell people that's like carbon monoxide because it takes you out and you don't even know, you can't even really define it. You can't see it, but all you know, and you don't even know it wiped you out. It took your life from you. That's conspiracy and the RICO charges because once they put that on your head, it's hard for you to get around it. Okay. That's like a fail safe that the feds use to take you out. And they put it on Diddy. He was able to beat it, but at what cost, right? I think Don Lemon, they put conspiracy on him. So, either way, even if you win the case, your lawyer is going to take you to the cleaners. Okay. Nicolas Maduro, they hit him with Coca-Cola. We're going to call it Coca-Cola. He was distributing Coca-Cola and heavy artillery. We're going to call it that for the sake of YouTube and the words we use. Okay, that's what happened with him. Now, do you think he was actually out there selling that stuff? No, but the United States have proved that he was calling the shots. Okay, and so that's the issue, and that's why nobody ever gets cleared. They'll tell you anything, but nobody gets cleared because hey, you could find Johnny and he has a weapon in his hand. But by the time you take him in the back room and you start telling him he's looking at life and we're going to cook you and fry you, Johnny said, well, it was him that told me to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like kids. So that's when they find out who really is the mastermind, and that's what they have. That's the box that they have Nicolas Maduro in, and that's why I like covering his case because I'm seeing the format that they're using. So I say all of that to make a point, and you'll have to figure that out yourself. But anyway, let's keep moving. Okay. Okay, but I told you in so many words, you just have to come to that conclusion. Okay. Thank you, Asia, again for the $20. Thank you. Uh, Jeep Girl says, I'm a retired nurse. Here, we worked harder than the doctors. Yeah, that's why I was out there fighting for those nurses. You should check it out. Go back in time. I was out there with the nurses. It was 20 degrees. It was freezing out there. We were out there all day. I couldn't even feel my fingers. But the nurses were happy with watching the world for helping to put some light on their strike. So that was beautiful. Okay. 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 Thank you guys. Lens, thank you. Mashona, shout out to you. Okay. Brian, shout out to you, Bass Girl. Okay. AJ says the perpetrator may have already been in Nancy's home before she returned back home from dinner with her daughter. I keep hearing that. I would need to hear the argument that would help me, understand that more, but could be. Okay. L6 says exploring what Jim is doing. Ground on dirt bike. Okay, thank you. Asia says might be a locksmith that opened the door. That's probably what he had in his backpack. See, that's where it takes me out of the realm. I'm not saying it's not true, but I mean it's worth looking at. But I think life is so simple. I think everything boils down to Occam's razor. It's going to be simply stupid. Stupid, simple, simple, stupid. You're like, oh, that's how it went down. I think that's how it's going to turn out. Okay. L6 says amazing support here. Yeah, we have great people, amazing folks. Amazing people. But we typically cover, everybody is so accustomed here, we cover court cases. And I had planned on coming here for the court case because I thought last Friday that people were arrested. And I said, oh, I don't have to go out there anymore because, well, I don't have to go now. I'll just go for the court case, whenever they have their arraignment. But then it went back to square zero. So I said, well, let me come out now. And then when they arrest someone, I'll come back for the trial and cover the procedures and whatnot, the arraignment, but we're not there. Okay, Jeep Girl says, Mr. Watching the World 777, you need to bring a chair. It's hard to stand for so long. I have a chair. I'm okay for now, It's so weird. I sit in court all day and I think I'd rather stand out here than to sit in court. Man, I mean, just sitting all day, it just starts to wear on your backside, you know what I mean? Sitting on the hard church pews in the courthouse. All right, Mashona says that's why I think it's for someone she knows. Why else would she open the door at that time of the morning? Shout out to you, Mashona. We're going to call you Mashona Colombo. That's a good name. You're the detective of the day. Okay, OTC, shout out to you. OTC 69, thumbs up to you. Jeep Girl says, come on, gang, let's break 300 likes. Okay, I can't see how many likes you have. I can't see much of anything. But yeah, I would say please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. So check this out. I have some good news for you guys, right? Because I'm a little different, I'm originally from the South, and my grandfather was one of those type of guys, He would, my grandfather was there for my early life, and he would always say, I am who I am, and I don't give a damn. Actually, he says, I am who I am, and I don't give a damn, you know? And that always stuck with me. Not that I don't care, but it prepared me to, I'm ready for it if you want to bring it, you know what I mean? So, um, I say that to say when you have people film you all day, and sometimes, people like to be at their best when they're filmed, right? I mean, most people. But when you turn around and you got a guy there just filming you, and then they go and they do a story on you and try to make it look bad, you know what I'm saying? That gets a little crazy. So that's happening all day to the streamers, especially. It's happened to me today, yesterday, JLR, I think he's just used to it. I don't even think he cares. But today, the local people were coming up to me that I have no clue who they are. But they were like, "Oh, we saw you on TV last night." It's the same video I posted this morning, guys. So go check it out. It's on Channel 4. I posted it on the community wall. But the guy was like, "Yeah, I'm a New Yorker too. And don't you go nowhere." So I was like, "Oh man, these people, they get it." You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's gonna be a lot of people that be like, "Yeah, y'all need to get up out of here, whatever, whatever." But see, I'm glad I took the interview. Like I tell the other guys, take it. The real people who rock with you, they're gonna understand what you're about. I'm not some guy that just drifted in off of the street somewhere. I do this, and I decided to come and cover this. 11 hours one way. I couldn't even get a direct flight, layover. You know, I don't even want to talk about how dreadful that can be. But and there's no vacation. This is work. You know what I mean? So to have so many people, this guy that just drove by, he just basically told me that. So that's cool too. So there's local people, they're evidently watching what we're doing here, and they agree with, even though it was a tough piece and they're trying to say a lot of streamers should go, the local people have risen up. I like that. Okay, 1W says a guy came through the back door somehow and he went in and he let the guy in the front door. That's why he looks so calm. Okay, so that doesn't match the time frame. 147, the camera is disconnected. 212, there's motion. And man, I wish I was at the studio. I could show you the stuff. It wasn't simultaneously. Um, yeah, I don't want to get it. It's just too much to get into at this moment. Okay, let's see. Okay, Rebecca says, yep, we know who called the shots. I've said it from the beginning. Okay. That's probably why you have silence. You know what I've found by following so many cases, to be honest with you? I think with the feds, once they know who the person is, they get into the mode of like they did with Sean Diddy Combs. Once they figured out that Sean Diddy Combs is guilty, or they felt he was guilty, they start building their case on him. So in these situations, right, from what I've seen by covering, because I'm in the court end covering these federal cases, and usually it's the FBI or Homeland Security. They run a different game, man. They know your whole health record. They know every time you poop. They know it. You know what I'm saying? So once they determine or they figure out, they know, they go real quiet and they start building a case on the person, and they figure they got you where they want you at. So then, you know, but when they don't know, the feds, they go crazy. They'll be putting out so much information and they'll be saying he had these shoes. They're not saying anything. So that's a to me that they have this probably, it's either too extreme, they don't have a clue, or they know already. And I think it's probably they know already. All right. But the feds go quiet when they have you cornered.
and they figured that's why they locked down. You can't take any flights. And then if they find out, like with Sean Diddy Combs, I'm going to give you guys an example. I was in court. I saw this. Now you guys got to rock with me. This to be my last story because my battery is not charging up with my charger. I'm going to have to charge it real quick before we go eat. But I'll tell you this last story about Sean Diddy Combs to help you understand how the feds work. So Diddy's attorney had made a deal for him to come to New York City and turn himself in. And he was staying in a hotel room. And in that room, um, he had a lot of different things. They showed us the video in court. There was baby oil, 4 or 5 different kinds of baby oil. There was drugs, right? Um, there was cameras set up like people were having freak offs. All that was happening. But what happened, they had given Diddy a time that they were going to be, arresting him. So what he did was he decided, I'm going to keep this room and I'm going to do what I do, but I'm going to turn myself in this new room. So everything is clean, like, a new hotel room. So you know what the feds did? They went in on him a day early so they could catch him in the room where all the incriminating stuff was. So before he could make any move, the feds honed in on him. So whenever the feds are quiet, that means they have their target. I mean, usually, you know what I'm saying? From what I've seen by going to court. And then in court, they'll say, yeah, such and such, his airplane was, even Diddy, he had his own private jet. They'll say something like, oh, yeah, his private jet was geared to be leaving the country the next day, so we decided to get him. Man, I'm not saying that happened with Diddy. I'm just saying I'm using that as an example. So, that's just 2 cents. It doesn't mean much. Asia said that's why she took an Uber. Oh man, I'm running out of battery. Okay, Scorpio says, what about the guy who you met yesterday who went droning with you? I'm sure he would enjoy an invite. Ask him. That would be nice. Okay. I'll make sure to put that out there. Okay, AI says Maduro was a tool bringing in the Chinese Communist Party's fentanyl. And I probably shouldn't use that word on YouTube. I'll try to remember that going forward. Okay, good point, AI. But in court, he's only charged. The F word is not there. I was sitting there, heard all his charges. It's only the Coca-Cola. Okay, Honeybee. Can anyone see me on my shadow ban again? No, I see you, Honeybee. I've been going back and forth with you the whole time. Tim Mack says, what 80-year-old woman do you know that's out eating dinner and even out anywhere that late at night? Yeah, that's true. I can understand that. Okay, Scorpio, I'm gonna tell JLR about that. Okay, we're down to the wire, so I'm gonna have to call it quits here, guys. It's been a real one, but I will be back at it tomorrow, and I'm gonna get more battery life and probably come back on tonight at some point just to give a recap. Okay, Chris Davis till 9:30. Get a ride home. Okay. 284 likes. That's amazing. Thank you guys for all the subscriptions and everything else. And definitely the super chats. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Aaron says she probably was packing. Honeybee says some of my comments YouTube isn't allowing through. That tells me some of these details are important. I hate being silenced. Me too. That's what they try to do. They want to silence you. TikTok did that to me. It didn't feel good because I had so many videos. But I started talking about some things in connection with Israel, and they banned me from TikTok. And I didn't even really go in. I just was I just was showing how the modern day Israel, are they the same Israel from the Bible, And when I started breaking that down, they kicked me out of there so fast. So I do not have TikTok anymore because I was on there talking about things that who bought the new owners of TikTok wasn't having it. So I'm out of there and I'm not trying to get it back. So it is what it is. Life is forward moving. Bass Girl says, I'm sure your grandpa was an awesome man. Yes, he was. He says, I am who I am and I don't give a damn. Hoorah to you. Rest in peace. All right. New Jerseyan knew all about him. New Jerseyan's father was just like my grandfather was her father's uncle. Yeah. So we're all pretty similar in that regard, but it is what it is. It's a blessing. All right. Honeybee says frustrating as heck. I'm down to 3. Okay. Frustrating as heck. I'm one of those people that was put in jail for speaking up at a local school board meeting. Oh my goodness. That's terrible. Island Beauty says, next time make sure you reach out and we'll come out there and support you. Island Beauty says, well, hopefully there's not a next time, but I'm just making a point. Island Beauty says, that's awesome, Mel. Very positive. Yeah, guys, like when these type of things happen, when you want as many people as possible, like you said, you never know whose voice can get through to who. You know what I mean? So when you start trying to block somebody, that means you feel like they're getting something that you deserve. And that's the problem. So, but we're going to rock with it. It's almost a month and nothing. So again, it means that there is nothing. I wish I could really give you a real scenario, but yeah, it gets a little crazy. Cups of Columbus says, don't forget to discuss with 857. Okay. All right. Okay, I definitely will. Okay, Jeep Girl says, I personally want to welcome you to our area from New York City. The western side of Colorado is beautiful. We are not Denver. Come back again in the summer and enjoy our sights. Okay, stay in touch with me. I love to explore. I would definitely come. Couple of Columbus says, stream of frustration comes from lack of real follow up and focusing on wow, stupid theories. Yeah. Yeah, and I get it because I saw some of that. So I totally get that part. And I think the people that do it, they know it. I experienced it at different court cases, and you get those type of people. And those are the people that don't tend to stick around because they feel embarrassed about their own work. You know what I mean? So, okay. I have to take a few more and then I'm out. AI Starseed says New York City got a bad vibe. Nobody pedest New York City ever again. Okay. I get it. Jet, welcome back, says, I know people have gone missing and found from animals. Is it a possibility? Anything is possible, you know? Asia says there has to be at least 2 people out there, 1 lookout and 2 inside. Never know. You never know. Tennessee Chick says if all the local news is throwing shade, it's only because they have nothing better to do. They must be a little jelly. Let haters hate. The cream rises. Thank you for all you do. Excited to start following you. Thank you very much. Honeybee says Mel's legit. Too legit to quit. Thank you. Can't touch this, right? Back in the day. I remember those days. Cup of Columbus says, didn't do that to Epstein. So different rules. Don't get me started on Epstein. I spend most of my time talking about Epstein, so I'm actually taking a break from it, but typically I'll be talking about that type of stuff. Jeep Girl says my side of Colorado has the largest flat top mountain in the world, Hot Springs. Wow. Colorado National Monument, dinosaur bones. Wow. Clean air, everything, but an ocean and fresh seafood. Okay. Jen says there was blood. I hope they find her alive. when you start off with blood and no medication, life gets complicated. It gets very complicated. Brian says honeybee mail is the real deal. Thank you, Brian. It's awesome coming from you. One W says, I honestly don't believe the info or time frames the police have told us. That's what I've been trying to tell you lately. You know, that's what the old commercial used to say. Okay. Zigzag says, what's this about? Nancy Guthrie. Okay. Okay. C. Harris says, yep, I think it's someone she knows. Okay. Right. Brian says, Mel, enjoy your dinner. Get the chocolate dessert. Probably can finish half of it. Delicious. All right. That's great. And C. Harris says, yep. And I think the family being cleared is a ruse. Sorry, but I do. Well, they have to get you in your comfort zone. You know, while the police are sitting outside, you have news and streamers pulling up to your house. You're not going to get back to business and what you know, clean up your mess. I'm not saying this happened with them, but I'm just saying typically in these type of cases, you know, the police need to do what they have to do, and they do a great job. You know, if anybody can figure it out, it's going to be the feds. Believe that. I mean, these guys went in. Don't think they're not tied in to the military. They went in to get Maduro like it was a piece of pie. I was in court. I told you I was in court with Maduro. They pull up in his, you know, they catch you on the couch. Hey, you're the president. Come on, man. You don't want to mess around with the United States. You got to be out of your mind. You know, don't doubt the United States, whatever you do. You know, these guys are top of the line, believe it. And they use some technology to cause people to freeze in time. Those guys felt like they were cavemen, probably. And they said the heat was so crazy, and they also you can't breathe. And forget about grabbing a weapon. And they took out 32 Cubans because in court it came out. Basically, Maduro had the Cubans protecting him. That was a part of their deal because he didn't trust the guys in his own government because he felt like they would try to overthrow him. So he had that layer. And the United States sent all those guys home to glory, you know? And it's not the hallelujah type of glory that they got. So they did all that without losing one soldier. And maybe they said one vehicle was hit. So the United States is definitely top notch, you know? So believe it. All right, guys. I have to depart here. It's been wonderful. Yeah, but listen, Eve, I'm going to end with you, Eve. Okay. Okay. You're talking about another glove. Okay. But before we move on to another glove, let's talk about the infamous glove that everybody's talking about. One thing they didn't tell us is if the glove that was found, you know, they said they can't find they can't find the DNA or they can't connect the person to the DNA, right? But here's the question. Is Nancy's DNA on the glove? Because that would give you an indication that it's associated with this and not somebody going hiking up the trail. You see what I'm saying? So they didn't answer that part. At least I haven't heard them answer that part. So that's what I would need to know before I could even go on about a glove. You know, other than that, it could be little Frankie's glove from across the way. Who knows, right? All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for those who participated and having us to go out for dinner. I really do appreciate it. I could use it. I didn't really eat all day. And I'll try to give you guys a update at some point. Brian says Mel knows the Bible. I smile when he preaches. I'm not a preacher, but I do know. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Make sure. Okay. Gent says they are not. You said this before in the chat. I remember. Jacob is Israel. I remember you saying that before on one of my shows, probably like 3 months ago. 4 more likes. Can we get 4 more likes so Stella can be happy? All right. Stella, thank you for your hard work too. Thank you. Thank you. We have so many new subscribers. It's so amazing. Thank you. Okay. Brittany says, great coverage today, Mel. Sir, God bless you for your heart. Enjoy your dinner this evening with JLR and the others. Much respect. All right. Thank you. What a great way to end. And I don't know if I could turn this thing around. Let's see. Well, that's not how you do it. This is not how I typically stream. All right. Good day, everybody. Good night. I'll try to come back on later. But until then, be well, and we'll see you soon. Watching the world.
Different voices, but the same song. Building a world where we all belong. Kindness leading the way, breaking the chains. In the symphony of love, the thing remains. Embracing diversity, brighter days in sight. Watching the world sharing love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. Colors of harmony, painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might. Watching the world sharing love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. The colors of harmony, painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might.